Michelle Arthur with this Monday, September 16th edition of the CBC Evening News. And our top story tonight: Barbados' foreign reserve cover remains strong despite claims to the contrary. This position was made clear by Minister in the Prime Minister's office over the weekend, Senator Darcy Boyce. Senator Boyce was speaking at a meeting of the Democratic Labour Party's St. Andrew branch last night. He charged that information put out that Barbados' foreign reserves were in jeopardy was simply an effort to raise fears about devaluation of the Barbados dollar.
Typically, the international community accepts that if you have 3 months of reserves, or foreign reserves, that you are reasonably okay. We have 4 months. And colleagues, that 4 months of reserves, as I recall, is still higher than the level of reserves we have had in this country from 1994 until now.
In his presentation, Senator Boyce spoke more about last month's budgetary proposals, which were aimed at reviving the economy. He also responded to a question from the audience regarding a suggestion to cut ministers' salaries. Senator Boyce said ministers will be among those paying the highest bracket of the newly introduced consolidation tax, making an additional salary cut senseless.
In the same way we are not asking the country, public servants, to take any 10% cut, I don't see why we should ask ministers to take a 10% cut. It is, it does not yield you particularly much money.
An opposition leader, Mayor Motley, wants government to reverse its decision to ask students attending the Capefield campus of the UWI to pay part of their tuition costs from September 2014. She made the comments at a branch meeting at the St. Lucie Primary School over the weekend.
I venture to suggest that 2/3 of the people in management positions across Barbados and owning businesses across Barbados have benefited from 50 years of free secondary and 40 years of free tertiary education. But that which we have inherited, we want to pick as the lowest hanging fruit rather than to use a little elbow grease and climb the tree and find the other ripe fruit to pick, to keep the state of Barbados Barbadian and stable.
Ms. Motley also contended that the fiscal measures announced by government in its August 13th budget will fall way short of its intended goals.
We have said, because we are confident that these measures announced by this government will not get the job done, because they are the wrong measures, with the wrong time, with the wrong consequences. And we have said, in fairness, because remember we like to give people a chance, we will wait and see. But we didn't have to wait long.
Barbados is in no position financially to subsidize the price of energy, whether from fossil fuels or renewable means. However, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for energy, Senator Darcy Boyce, says government intends to permit the integration of renewable energy into the island's economy. Senator Boyce was addressing the opening of the 3rd Regulatory Forum of the Caribbean Electric Utility Service Corporation at the Hilton Hotel. He made it clear that it's not government's intention to embrace renewable energy if it will result in higher electricity prices. He's hoping the push will not reduce the stability of electricity supply nor the financial viability and attractiveness of the Barbados Light and Power Company.
As we are convinced that the characteristics of the utility are critical to ensure the supply of electricity in Barbados continues at the high level to which we have become accustomed. After all, this stability has been a key attraction for investors in our country.
Senator Boyce also provided some insight into the revised draft of the Light and Power Bill 2013.
While that bill, when passed, will give the power to the minister responsible for energy to issue licenses, the bill provides that those licenses, with one initial exception, will be issued only on the advice of a technical advisory committee independent of the minister, and only after consultation with the regulator and open hearing. The bill also requires the committee to ensure that its recommendations are consistent with maintaining the stability of the grid.
In his address, Carolec Chairman Thornley Mears highlighted some of the challenges he says could be detrimental to the regional electricity sector. Chief among these, the extensive use of net metering and the practice called wheeling. According to the Carolec head, though some may be ideal for large power companies, they are inadequate for small island utilities.
Carolec is of the view that no investor in generation infrastructure should be allowed to selectively identify customers in the network to retail the power generated. This practice, known widely as wheeling, could prove to be destructive to the entire power distribution system and ultimately lead to increased costs and deterioration of the power service in a number of countries if applied.
A 28-year-old St. Michael man has been remanded to Dodge Prison on a murder charge. He's Harold Joseph of Upper Dukes Alley, St. Michael. He appeared in the District E Magistrates Court this afternoon, charged with murdering Akeem Cadogan. Cadogan's body was found with a gunshot wound at Dunscombe, St. Thomas on June 1st this year. Peter Thorne has a story.
Family and friends of murder-accused Harold Joseph gathered in the yard of the District E Court to support him as he appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Barbados Aline. Joseph was not required to plead to the indictable offense and was remanded in custody to reappear at the District D Court on October 14th. He's being represented by attorneys at law Stuart Motley and Joanna Peterson. His close friend, 19-year-old Kyra Rose of Batali St. Peter, also appeared before the acting chief magistrate to answer charges of assisting an offender and impeding an investigation. She was released on bail in the sum of $10,000 with one surety and ordered to report to a police station once a week. Rose, who's being represented by attorney at law Alan Carter, is to reappear in court on January 6 next year. Peter Thorne, CBC News.
Nearly 20 people with traffic charges had their cases dismissed this afternoon by Acting Chief Magistrate Barbara Cook Aline. This after Police Prosecutor Sergeant Junior Curtin found that the statutory limitation of 6 months for the Crown to bring the charges against the accused had expired. And even though all of the accused were in court, Sergeant Curtin asked the Acting Chief Magistrate to dismiss the cases. Coming up on the evening news, Barbados' newest centenarian and her recipe for longevity.
In concert with community, in harmony with humanity, feeling the rhythm, hearing the rhyme, moving to the beat of the time. Goddard Enterprises giving back, proud to be giving back, caring and sharing and serving and giving back. Across the region, Goddard Enterprises is giving back.
I sent a text to the economic program and then I got a call saying that I was a winner. This system is beautiful. For baths, it is excellent. I want to thank SunPower for this wonderful gift and giving back to the community. And I want to say again, thanks very much to Economics and SunPower, and I encourage everyone to watch the show. You too can be a winner.
Dengue can be fatal if unrecognized and not properly treated in a timely manner. Consult your doctor if you have a high fever and 2 or more of the following symptoms: headache, pain behind the eyes, severe muscle or joint pains, skin rash, and bleeding from the nose, mouth, and gums. Let's fight dengue.
The Bridgetown Port has already started implementing some aspects outlined in the 10-year master plan for the facility. That's the word from its CEO, David Jean-Marie. He tells CBC News that aside from the port, the plan covers other important areas across the island.
It looks at the lighthouses also, how we're going to develop the lighthouses in Barbados. The Carinage area also, Spikestone Jetty. So it looks at the entire port, all the assets that are vested in the port, and how are we going to improve and utilize them well.
Mr. Jean-Marie says with the development of the proposed Sugar Point cruise facility, congestion will be eased at the Bridgetown port.
There should be very little issues of congestion, unless, of course, we get significant business coming to Barbados in terms of transshipment. But based on the current forecast, we should be able to accommodate our cruise vessels at Sugar Point and our cargo vessels in the Deepwater Harbour without any delays.
The head of the local Alzheimer's Association is disgusted by the growing trend of Barbadians neglecting and hiding their elderly family members. Pamelia Brereton made the comments during a service marking World Alzheimer's Month at the St. Philip Parish Church. Referring to senior citizens living with Alzheimer's, she said Barbadians need to again become each other's keeper.
Part of our problem is that we don't look at each other enough to see what's going on. We don't talk about things enough in this society. We tend to hide things. I get some calls on the line sometimes where I hear of folks hiding their grandmother in the bedroom and so on because they don't want her to be part of what's going on. And to me, all of those kind of things are ridiculous because it doesn't say much for families in our society anymore.
The Asthma Association of Barbados is still worried about the indiscriminate burning of garbage by some householders. President Rosita Pollard says these actions are having an impact on asthma sufferers.
Please stop burning. It is affecting asthmatics severely. People don't understand how badly, you can get an attack from people inhaling smoke, and it's a very bad thing for people to be burning because, your garbage is there, the sanitation truck comes out and you can leave your garbage by the side of the road to be picked up. There's no need to burn your leaves or your garbage.
Barbados' newest centenarian says she has lived by the motto, abide and obey. During her celebration at the Acacia Retirement Home, Winifred Callender said she was always obedient to those in authority. The centenarian, affectionately known as 4D, was visited by the Governor-General, Sir Elliot Belgrave. The Governor-General described the centenarian as happy, witty, alert, and tough. The two exchanged a lively and jovial chit-chat about her upbringing and family.
Been so much licks to the stir, you got to hear and obey. And the more you say do obey you or doing know what you doing or obey, licks can't done.
Mrs. Callender received flowers and a card and a bottle of wine from her honored visitor. The lively lady told the CBC News team about her days in her kitchen garden and the making of seasoning. She remarked that times have changed as the main ingredient in pepper sauce appears to be tomatoes.
When I want the hard work, the boy what to sell, and then he know what to make them with. No, make my seasoning hot sauce. Oh dear, hot sauce. You didn't used to say hot sauce, say pepper sauce.
Next, we'll take a look at the top regional stories, so stay with us.
Community Files. Registration opens on Saturday, September 21st for upcoming classes at the Bonnets Resource Center, Britton's Hill, St. Michael. Between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., you may register for classes in the production of Bajan confectionery, nail technology, jewelry making, cake and pastry, needlework, and beginners international cooking. For more information, please call 435-2427.
Ralston cereals start your day deliciously. There's a full range of cereals to start your morning right. Kickstart your day with the oats and more. Toasted multigrain flakes in 3 flavors. And for those who prefer a hot start to their day, look for the Quick Oats or try them with your favorite recipes. Your kids will love the Fruit Rings, Magic Stars, cookies, and peanut butter cereals. And for snack time or fun time, there's Snack Mix. Healthy, great tasting cereals to start your day and snacks to keep you going. Ralston cereals. Feel good about breakfast. Feel good about every day.
Are you a CUNY community fan?
Then get your limited edition Q t-shirt now.
In a variety of colors, red, yellow, green, purple, and blue. From small to extra large. What are you waiting for? Get queued up. It's just $30. Available at the next Q in the community. To pre-order your shirt, call the sales department at 467-5452 between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to get yours now.
See you at the next Q in the community.
In your limited edition shirt.
The family of the mighty sparrow hospitalized in the U.S. says he's doing better. In a brief statement issued today, the family said Slinger Francisco, the mighty sparrow, was responding well to treatment. The family said they were very hopeful that he would continue to recover. The mighty sparrow has been in a coma at a hospital in Queens, New York for the past 2 weeks. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica has put forward another set of recommendations aimed at clamping down on illegal campaign funding.
On the matter of campaign financing, the ECJ has put forward 10 recommendations. The ECJ is advocating for several entities to be banned from making contributions to political campaigns. Among the list, foreign or Commonwealth governments and their agencies. According to the ECJ, no political party or candidate shall accept any donation from foreign or Commonwealth states, whether directly from the donor or indirectly through a third party. The ECJ has banned contributions from public institutions, illegal entities, statutory bodies or any company with government shares. The ECJ is also putting limits on contributions to candidates and political parties. Contributions to political candidates in a single campaign period should not exceed an amount equal to 10% of the aggregate limit of expenditure to which a candidate is entitled. For political parties, they can only receive an amount equal to 5% of the aggregate limit of expenditure the party is allowed under the Representation of the People's Act. The Commission is proposing that the political party's entitlement be computed on the basis of the number of seats being contested by the party. And that's not all. The Electoral Commission wants full disclosure. Donors are now required to declare their full name, address, occupation, or nature of business that qualifies him or her to make a donation under the regulations. Anyone who knowingly contributes or accepts donations from illegitimate sources will be guilty of an offense.
In St. Kitts and Nevis, that federation has a new national hero. He's the former Premier of Nevis, the late Dr. Simeon Daniel. The announcement was made by Governor-General Sir Edmund Lawrence and approved by Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas. The announcement came as St. Kitts Nevis observed National Heroes Day today. 2 people were injured after fuel tanks at a gas station in the U.S. Virgin Islands exploded. Residential areas around the station in St. Thomas were evacuated and traffic diverted after the explosion Saturday night. Firefighters and other emergency personnel contained the blaze shortly before midnight, about 3 hours after the tanks ignited. An all-clear has since been issued, allowing residents to return home. Authorities say a man who was at the gas station received burns to about 18% of his body. Well, next is the Lime Sports World with Sean Green, but first a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
When diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it's important to make preparations at that stage for the future.
Community Files. Registration opens on Saturday, September 21st for upcoming classes at the Bonnets Resource Center, Britten's Hill, St. Michael. Between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., you may register for classes in the production of Bajan confectionery, nail technology, jewelry making, cake and pastry, needlework, and beginners international cooking. For more information, please call 435-2427.
Hey, me off there in such a hurry, Cordy?
I go here to put this pension check on the bank for my aunt.
You know you don't have to do that now if you don't want to.
How come?
Because you can have the check deposited straight on your bank account.
So why the change get good?
Well, for a start, security. You don't have to worry about with your aunt check, and she don't have to put it in anybody else's hand. So it can be stolen and cashed without her knowledge.
So it's really for convenience and security.
Yeah, and they're paying the month pension one time too.
Wait, you got the choice of which method of payment you prefer?
Yeah. They're just offering that as a convenient option. People who are already receiving the checks in the post can decide which method of payment they prefer.
Sound good to me, Giggard.
All right, then. Hey, wait. Let me kick you back.
We can talk later.
Yeah, all right.
Call the NIS at 467-4647 for further information.
Inspiration comes in many forms, sizes, and colors. Be inspired by sleek finishes, bright flames, and frosty chills. Be inspired by innovation, efficiency, and the best prices guaranteed. At Quartz, find your inspiration in our wide range of appliances, brought to you from the world's best brands. So we're sure you'll find exactly what you are looking for. Be inspired. Quartz, bringing value home.
The fourth generation of mobile technology. Video conferencing can take place from the beach. Smart. Fast. Imagine. 4G.
Welcome to Lime Sports World.
Good evening, I'm Sean Green with the Lime Sports World. We begin with cricket news. Barbadian Christopher Jordan had the honour of carrying away the Australian skipper when he got his first ball in a one-day international for England today. But his performance was for the losing team in the 5th ODI. In his debut for England, the senior team, the 24-year-old pacer was entrusted with the new ball and he didn't disappoint, taking 3 wickets from his 10 overs. He got the first wicket to fall, that of Philip Hughes, with a delivery that beat the opener for pace, forcing Hughes to top edge a pull shot to mid-wicket. Then it was the prize scalp of Michael Clarke at a time when the Aussie captain was looking dangerous on 75. And finally, Jordan took care of James Faulkner to end with 3 for 51 at an economy rate of 5.1. And with the bat, Jordan, batting at number 9, made 14, inclusive of a boundary, as the host lost by 49 runs. Now, going back to the beginning of that match, the Aussies decided to bat first at the Rose Bowl and posted an above par 298 in 49.1 overs. Man of the match, Shane Watson, made 143 with 12 fours and 6 sixes, while Clarke's 75 included 10 fours and a 6. Ben Stokes was the only bowler better than Jordan with 5 for 61.
It's 4 more. Overpitched. Straight down the ground. All the way.
Watson with that 4 moves on to 49. Straight away gets to his 50 too. 50 just better than runner ball. His 30th in one-day internationals. Yeah, flashy 60 or 70 helps. Well, it's lofted and it has the power to climb over Joe Root. Well, it's powerfully hit. Oh, just over the top. Chris Jordan there at deep mid-wickets. Up it goes again. Over the top it goes again. Well, that's 50 for Michael Clarke. Now, should be out. Kevin Peterson is out. Survived a moment ago, but Jordan gets Clarke. Valuable 75 at a runner ball for Michael Clarke, but Jordan picks up his second.
Well, not too sure what has taken place here.
For some reason, not really made an effort even just to twitch that back foot. As if he was unaware of where it was, or unaware of how far he'd stretched, or unaware of what was going on behind him. But that's clear, isn't it? That's clear enough.
That's it. The single for the century, his 8th one-day international century. Edged and gone.
Catch! Goes big. Carberry's there at 6. Goes again.
Cow corner, no doubting that, whatever size the boundary. 6 more. And he's not going to stop. And he's not finished. 6 more. Caught in the deep. Good catch. Great catch. Edged, I think. Yes. Big wicket. In the air. Gone. 5 for Stokes. Oh, is there a glove on that? Yes. Chip to leg side. Man comes in. Takes the catch. So they won't get 300. Australia have been bowled out with 5 deliveries to go.
In reply, England lost their best batsman Kevin Pietersen without a run on the board, and in the end they only got up to 249 in 48 overs. Ravi Bopara made 62 while James Faulkner took 3 for 38 as the Aussies won the game by 49 runs and the series 2-1. We'll have full highlights later on TV8 during CBC Sports, which comes your way at 8:30 p.m. Commercial break time. We'll be back in just a sec.
I'm waking up my bed with texting in my head. I text my mom for breakfast, she texts me cheese and bread. I text my taxi driver, my girl, my grandpa. Now I dare you to text all your friends near and far. I dare you, I dare you to text with rhymes unbeatable value.
Dial *130 *1 number sign to start texting for less than 1 cent per text. Send 1,000 texts to anyone, anywhere, on any network.
I dare you, I dare you to text with rhymes unbeatable value.
Time to talk some football now. Former champions Bajan Pride, along with LG Strike Force and Red Snappers, all registered victories on the opening night of the 2013 Lime Pelican Football Challenge at the National Stadium last evening. The 2011 winners, Bajan Pride in the Black, took on the defending champions Academics in the season opener. And the man with number 7 on his back, Jomo Yearwood, blasted it past the goalie in the 4th minute of the game. Then only 2 minutes had expired before this happened. A mistake by the Academics defense, and once more Yearwood, he got free and it was all over. He took out 2 more defenders and beat the keeper to his left, 2-0 up after 6 minutes. In the second, Academics with a rare chance right in front of the keeper. You gotta be kidding me, guy. Another chance, the cross, the header and the save. That's the way it stayed. 2-0 to Bajan Pride. Game 2, LG Strike Force in the orange taking on TS Strikers. A free kick results in nothing. Strike Force, a big boot from far out, sends the keeper airborne, but it's safe. 0-0 after the first, and the Strikers here with a chance, and the cross is met with a swing and a miss. A corner finds a blue shirt in the crowd, and all he did was tap it straight to the keeper. But all that changed in stoppage time as the Strikers were on the attack again, and Tyrell Gibbons gets some order from the Mayhem to produce the game's only goal. And that was enough to do the job, and the victory was sweet indeed. This is Red Snappers in the red against Stock-based Settlers. Goal number 1, Edwin Barton on the score sheets. The Settlers not settling for just 1 goal, but a man is brought down in the box and the referee reaches into his top pockets and comes out with a second yellow card. The Settlers now down to 10 men and the Snappers get a penalty. Raheem Sargent stepped up and made it goal number 2 for his team. But that lead was soon cut short just 1 minute later when DeCarlo Jummett netted for the Snappers. Then early in the second, they struck again. Rashad Jules took out 1 defender and the goalie and almost burst the nets with this one. The equalizer in minute number 58. And the winner came 14 minutes later. The man Jummett again was in the right place at the right time to take advantage of this. A fumble, come on man. Red Snappers celebrate 3-2 winners over the Settlers. In news of tennis, it'll be Serbia and the Czech Republic for the final of the Davis Cup. The Czechs had earlier qualified while world number 1 Novak Djokovic and the Serbs defeated Canada yesterday in their semi-final.
They had to come from behind in their semifinal clash against Canada this past weekend, trailing 2-1. World number 1 Novak Djokovic knew it was do or die Sunday against big-serving Milos Raonic. Noli did his country proud, ruthlessly beating his opponent in straight sets on the indoor clay. First set went to a tie-break. Djokovic, though, dropped only 4 games after that. And you'll see right here just how much he enjoys playing for his country in front of the home crowd. Serbia still alive in the tie, so it meant a decisive winner-take-all 5th rubber in order. As it turned out, Janko Tipsarevic had too much for Vasek Pospisil. He won in straight sets, sparking wild celebrations on the court and among the 15,000 fans in attendance. Tipsarevic said it was one of the sweetest wins of his career. Djokovic noted that while he's won a half-dozen Grand Slam titles, nothing compares to sharing victory with your teammates. Serbia all set to play the Czechs again. Two nations meet in a gripping semifinal back in 2010. That year, Serbia won the Davis Cup, but the Czechs avenged the defeat in the quarters last season and winning the whole thing later in the year. The final in Belgrade starts on November 15th.
Well, that's sports. Check out CBC Sports at 8:30, but now, time for business.
The 4th generation of mobile technology. The telecommunications company of firsts is doing it again. Smart. Fast. Imagine. 4G.
This has been Lime Sports World.
Don't miss the NCC's free Environmental Arbor Expo, Saturday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The theme, Trees, the Circle of Life. Buy products and services derived from trees. Take part in workshops on plant maintenance. View environmental exhibits and fashion shows. Don't miss out on the all-day plant sale with up to 20% off selected plants. That's the Environmental Arbor Expo, Saturday, September 28th at the NCC.
Everything you need in lumber and building supply. Northern Lumber Company, Spring Hall, St. Lucie. Call 439-6970. Free delivery island-wide.
You are my lifelong companion. You entertain me. You delight me. I can't do without you.
What? But honey can explain.
Honey, how could I ever have doubted you? You always make the right choice.
MCTV, the right choice.
Local businesses are eagerly awaiting the benefits that will flow from new green legislation. This is according to President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Lalu Vaswani. He says the legislation is expected to be among the items debated when Parliament reconvenes.
We have been pushing for the green legislation to be enacted. We have many businesses chomping at the bits to make their investments to reduce the cost of energy that they are utilizing, but all that is contingent upon the legislation that has been promised by government. I think the Prime Minister mentioned about the Electricity Act when Parliament reconvenes on the 15th, and also the changes to the Income Tax Act, which give impact to the previous announcements that were made in the budget of 2012.
Mr. Vaswani said green initiatives ultimately benefit both businesses and consumers, and he noted that the level of interest has been significant from the business community.
Businesses are ready, waiting to invest. Individuals are waiting to invest to get those benefits. And the sooner the better, because I get many calls, when is it going to happen? And only yesterday I was assured by the Minister of Finance it's coming. In fact, he mentioned that there are many other major projects coming down that are about to be announced, which will be beneficial for the country. And we as a chamber welcome that, because Barbados needs investments. It needs foreign direct investments, and it also needs local investments.
Barbados needs to reduce the amount of foreign exchange that goes towards the purchase of oil. That's some $400 million Barbados dollars a year, according to the Minister with Responsibility for Energy, Senator Darcy Boyce. Senator Boyce is of the view that the move to develop the renewable energy sector is but one way to reduce the outflow. He was at the time addressing the third regulatory forum of the Caribbean Electric Utility Service Corporation, or CARELEC, at the Hilton Hotel.
The analyses that have been done for us indicate very strongly that careful, and I emphasize careful, introduction and integration of renewable energy in our economy will help significantly to stabilize our energy prices at levels lower than at present and improve the competitiveness of our economy. In addition, we are embarked in several ways on making our economy one of the leading green economies in the world.
Barbados has been named one of the 10 most ethical destinations for world travelers. This is Barbados' first time on the list, which also includes Cape Verde, Costa Rica, Ghana, Latvia, Lithuania, Mauritius, Samoa, and Uruguay. The list has been compiled every year since 2006 by Ethical Traveler, a California-based nonprofit organization. The organization seeks to empower travelers to change the world by using the economic clout of tourism to protect human rights and the environment. Every year, Ethical Traveler conducts a study of developing nations to identify the world's best travel and tourism destinations. The three main categories used include environmental protection, social welfare, and human rights. Ethical Traveler makes it clear that no money or donations of any kind are ever solicited or accepted from any nations, governments, travel bureaus, or individuals to create the list. And now a summary of trading on selected stock exchanges in the region. The American economy is once more on the rise. Its remarkable rebound is being attributed mostly to a dramatic increase in energy production.
Look at the numbers. Just keep it straightforward at the numbers. GDP, 2.5% in the second quarter. Unemployment has fallen to 7.3% from its peak of 10%. And as we look to explain what's happening, everything points to one major change. It is, of course, energy production, and in particular fracking, which has brought the country closer to its dream of energy independence. Take a look at this, and this shows it better than anything. This is US crude production in the United States. Look at that. Now, I'm just going to point out the bits here. So for most of the time, it's either holding steady or declining, and then we get this upturn. It's quite striking, and it's quite dramatic. It takes us, in terms of energy production, roughly back to the levels of the 1980s and 70s. But there's more to it, because if you look at how we came about to get this, you'll start to see the number of US oil rig production, because the US now imports 40% of its oil. It's the lowest level since 1991. And if you look at the number of rigs, this is truly dramatic. These are active rigs in the United States. And again, in 2010, we get this extraordinary increase. In fact, it's so big, we have to go back decades before we see anything like the number of active rigs in this country. In the first 5 months of this year, the United States met 87% of its own energy needs.
And that's business. David Best is standing by with our weather report.
Community Files. The Barbados Coalition of Service Industries, Inc., in conjunction with PBHC Clinic and School of Holistic Therapies, is offering the ITEC Level 2 certificate in complementary and alternative therapies. The program is geared to persons seeking to operate in the health and wellness sector. The deadline for registration is September 25th. For more information, please call the BCSI Secretariat at 429-5357.
Join the breast screening program of the Barbados Cancer Society as they celebrate Pink Ribbon Week from October 6 to 12. Think pink, think passion, think life at the historic Garrison Savannah at 3 p.m. on Sunday, October 6. A breast cancer awareness walk and run, as well as Pedal for a Purpose, a men's-only bike race. Register at the Barbados Cancer Society, Supercenter Big B, Oystons and Sunset Crest, as well as A&B Music Supplies, Sheraton. Think pink, think passion, think life, in association with CIBC First Caribbean, Walking for a Cure, and the Ministry of Health.
Are you a CUNY community fan?
Then get your limited edition Q t-shirt now.
In a variety of colors, red, yellow, green, purple, and blue. From small to extra large, what are you waiting for? Get queued up. It's just $30. Available at the next Q in the community. To pre-order your shirt, call the sales department at 467-5452 between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to get yours now.
See you at the next Q in the community.
In your limited edition shirt.
Stay tuned for the CBC Weather News. Stay safe with protection you can trust from United Insurance. You're in safe hands with United.
A very good evening to all, and the weak unstable pattern that we saw for most of last week existing over the south continued at least into last night. Trinidad, though, had the lion's share of the shower activity. They had something like 38.9 millimeters of rainfall, and if you've been following what's going on in Trinidad recently, they did have some serious flooding issues. Well, of course, that 38.9 added to the whole scenario, and we are expecting it to continue. Now here in Barbados today, though, we got up to a high of 30.8 degrees Celsius at the airport. The minimum temperature was 26.4. At 6 o'clock, we had fair skies. The temperature was down to 27.8. The humidity stood at 81%, and the wind started to pick up coming in out of the east-southeast at 26 kilometers per hour. No measurable rainfall during the day, but we did have about 2 millimeters during the night. A quick look into the far eastern Atlantic. First of all, we have the islands of the Lesser Antilles, Barbados right around here. There's another tropical wave moving off the African coast, out of the range of this photo at this time, in the vicinity of around 21 degrees west. There is an area of low pressure, 10-12 millibar low, in the vicinity of around 14 degrees north. Of moderate activity at this time is associated with that tropical wave, and of course we're going to be following its movement very, very closely as it moves across the Atlantic. This is the representative of the activity associated with the intertropical convergence zone. Lots of showers and embedded thunderstorm activity. Now this is Tropical Storm Umberto, and this evening the system is about 1,500 miles to the southwest of the Azores Islands. It is presently moving to the west-northwest at about 8 miles per hour, packing maximum sustained winds of about 40 miles per hour. Now this trough trailing from Umberto was responsible for enhancing some activity in the region of the intertropical convergence zone, and that is going to be playing a fairly pivotal role in the weather conditions here in Barbados and indeed the southern portion of the region over the next 24 hours. Now a high pressure system centered in the eastern Atlantic is desperately trying to gain some kind of dominance, but the most it did today, it pushed some rather fresh breezes into the area, and as you can see, these were some patches of quite shallow low level cloud were responsible for a few scattered showers here in Barbados, and we are expecting a few more tonight. Now, in the western portion of to the west of Barbados, this activity is associated with the low-level trough that generated the showers and thunderstorms of the weekend. Most of the action right now is over open water, quite a bit of high-level cloud streaming over Puerto Rico, but they had not a lot of shower activity today. This is associated with another trough system over the Yucatan Peninsula, lots of showers and thunderstorms. Out of the range of this satellite photo is Tropical Storm Ingrid. As a matter of fact, the system has weakened. It is presently inland over Mexico at this time and has started to generate a considerable amount of rainfall. As a matter of fact, the prediction is that this system could generate as much as 25 inches, and that is going to be a lot of problems. I'll be back after the break.
This is the unfortunate event
that damaged the house of the family that is insured with United. Homeowners insured with United Insurance don't need to worry about what will happen after a disaster strikes, because they know that United will always be there, helping them put things back together again by providing insurance for houses and contents. Don't worry, you're in safe hands with United.
Welcome back, and take a look at our depiction of what we're going to be expecting tomorrow. As he pointed out, most of the instability and moisture will be concentrated over the south. The heaviest showers, though, are expected in the vicinity of Trinidad, but that trailing trough associated with Umberto is going to be moving closer to the region along with the intertropical convergence zone moisture. We are expecting it to be deflected as far north as Barbados. So while tomorrow is going to be fairly partly cloudy to begin with, we are expecting a deterioration of sorts, and some scattered showers and even some isolated thunderstorms are expected here in Barbados. We'll take a look at the 4-day prediction. Tuesday through to Friday, showers and the possibility of isolated thunderstorms. We are seeing a small drying out of sorts in the around the middle of the week, but then there's another low-level trough moving into the picture, and of course, remembering that we have that tropical wave out there, that is going to be responsible for another peak around Friday, and we could very well see some scattered showers developing here in Barbados, and indeed most of the south. Sunrise, 12 minutes to 6 o'clock. Sunset is going to be at 2 minutes to 6. The tides, the first high tide, 1:37 early tomorrow morning. The second is going to be at 2:30 in the evening. The first low tide 9 minutes after 8. The second is going to be at 20 minutes after 8 in the evening. The seas moderate in open water, swells are peaking at 2 meters. The winds easterly 15 to 35 kilometers per hour. Take a close look. We are looking at fair to occasionally cloudy skies. It's also going to be breezy with a few scattered showers. And come tomorrow, we're going to be looking at partly cloudy skies. Is going to become increasingly cloudy with scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms as that weak trough embedded in the ITC moves into the southern portion of the island chain.
The CBC Weather News is brought to you Monday to Friday with the kind compliments of United Insurance. You're in safe hands with United.
Community Files. The St. Andrew Parish Independence Committee continues its month of activities on Friday, September 20th with a primary school quiz at the DaCosta Edwards Primary School at 10 a.m. At 7 p.m. that evening, there will be a community quiz at the Allen School. There will be a hike on Saturday, September 21st, a cook-off at the Allen School on Friday, September 27th, and a health fair and farmers market at the Belle Plaine Field on Saturday, September 28th. On Sunday, September 29th, the committee will sponsor a senior citizens bus ride. For details on all these activities, please contact the Secretariat at 310-2700.
City and Carlton.
Girl, you hear there is a $3 and more store in Carlton Supermarket?
And in Emerald City Supermarket too.
New arrivals just opened.
Cheap, cheap, cheap.
Cheap things at Carlton Supermarket and the Emerald City Supermarket too.
Emerald City and Carlton.
Proper.
12 people were killed after at least one shooter opened fire in a rampage at a Navy yard in the nation's capital earlier today. The shooting put government buildings on lockdown and sent police SWAT teams rushing to the scene. Police have so far confirmed that one suspect is dead and one other gunman may be on the loose.
This is at a facility called the Washington Navy Yard in the southern edge of the city along the river. There are many buildings there full of U.S. Navy personnel. This took place in an office building where several hundred people work. It was about 8:20 this morning here in Washington when reports came that 3 shots were fired. At that point, security personnel began to move in very rapidly. What we have now been told by the chief of police of Washington, D.C. is very sadly 12 people are dead. That does include at least one shooter. They have one shooter confirmed dead, and the police chief says they are looking for potentially 2 more shooters that may have been involved in this incident. Now, if that all proves to be accurate, and there are 3 shooters who got into a U.S. military installation in Washington, D.C., and were able to carry out this attack, this is quite serious beyond the initial tragedy. It suggests some sort of conspiracy of people plotting, planning, talking amongst themselves, getting ready to carry out this attack. This will be of paramount concern to law enforcement personnel. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, now in the lead on this entire matter.
Over the weekend, the U.S. and Russia hashed out a new plan to get Syria to give up control of its chemical weapons. Syria says it welcomes the plan, but the wait is on to see whether the war-torn country actually hands over one of the world's biggest stockpiles of chemical weapons.
It's a comment that set the tone for a suddenly very busy day ahead at the UN. Its chief may have thought he wasn't on camera Friday, but still said this of Monday's vital UN inspectors report on Syria.
I believe that the report will be an overwhelming report that the chemical weapons was used, even though I cannot publicly say at this time.
Ban Ki-moon added Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president, had committed many crimes against humanity and would face eventually, quote, a process of accountability. It's possible Ban Ki-moon had seen the finished report when he spoke, one official telling me it was likely complete by then. The UN inspectors report on the 21st of August attacks will be presented to the UN Security Council at 11 a.m. Monday in enough detail for others to perhaps work out who was behind the attacks, though it's not the inspectors' job to do so. Syria has officially now joined the Chemical Weapons Convention, the UN declared Saturday, whose rules mean it must declare all those weapons by mid-November. That's not fast enough for the United States or Russia, who agreed in Geneva that Syria must tell all in a week. And in Syria's first major comments on the deal, its information minister talking to ITV News, it said it wants to wait for a UN resolution to set the timing of its disarmament. So now another round of negotiations begins, perhaps fast, perhaps torturous, to find a wording for a resolution that can back up what was agreed in Geneva between America and Russia.
Philippine military helicopters have fired rockets at Muslim rebels who were holed up in areas of a major city on a southern island. The rebels have been holding scores of people hostage for the past week in a crisis authorities estimate has left as many as 61 people dead and more than 150 others injured.
We just received confirmation that at least 26 hostages were just released early this evening, bringing it all to a total of at least 50 hostages released since day one of the standoff here in Zamboanga City. This is quite a good news for the past 8 days of the standoff, and local officials say that the hostages that were released will still be undergoing some sort of stress debriefing, and that media are not yet allowed to approach these people as to let them rest first and follow a stress debriefing. As of the moment, firefight between the government troops and members of the Nur Miswari-led faction of the Moro National Liberation Front has temporarily stopped. And this is quite contrary to what we heard earlier this afternoon, where military airstrike was already occurred earlier, but it temporarily stopped. And we are expecting a report from the Crisis Management Committee as to the official count of the number of casualties on both camps.
The operation to salvage the massive Costa Concordia cruise liner had started off the coast of Italy. The giant vessel ran aground and tipped over in January 2012, killing 32 of the 4,200 people on board.
This really is the culminating point of a very long salvage operation. They've done so much to prepare for this day over the last year and a half. And, you know, this morning they were delayed. We were worried. It was very, very bad weather here last night. But they've started lifting this 114,000-ton ship. And there's a very visible line right now. You can see the sort of the windows, the debris, things like that on the side of the ship as they lift it up. So we have a clear gauge of what's lifting. We also have our eye on some deck chairs up on the top deck just to see if those are going to move. But because it's moving so slowly, you have to look at points, checking back at them from time to time to see exactly how quickly it's moving and how much progress they've made. They expected at one time to have this done in 12 hours. They've been at it for 5 hours right now, and we're not quite sure if they'll make the 12-hour deadline, but they can't go back. They absolutely cannot stop now that they've started. It will have to keep going until the ship is in a vertical position.
We'll have a recap of the top stories right after the break.
Community Files. The National Assistance Board, in collaboration with the Barbados Association of Retired Persons, presents the dramatic production Take Warning, Grannies Say on HIV and Sex. The production comes off at Combermere School Hall on September 20th, 22nd, 27th and 28th at 7 p.m. each evening. There will also be performances by Junior Calypso Monarchs Quinn P. and Jazzy, as well as Kayla B.
Good morning, Barbados. Good morning.
Tomorrow on Morning Barbados, Tuesday's business, how to cope in these tough economic times.
And I decided to have me a good read under the juniper tree. We have a chat with the author on their book launch tomorrow, Tuesday, Morning Barbados. Be with us.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Are you a CUNY community fan?
Then get your limited edition Q t-shirt now.
In a variety of colors, red, yellow, green, purple and blue. From small to extra large, what are you waiting for? Get queued up. It's just $30. Available at the next queue in the community. To pre-order your shirt, call the sales department at 467-5452 between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to get yours now.
See you at the next queue in the community.
In your limited edition shirt.
A recap of this evening's top stories brought to you in association with Carlton and Emerald City Supermarkets, where Bogoff and Bosch are looking out for you from 6:30 a.m.
Barbados' foreign reserve cover remains strong despite claims to the contrary. This position was made clear by Minister in the Prime Minister's office over the weekend, Senator Darcy Boyce. Opposition leader Mia Motley has reiterated her call for government to reverse its decision to ask students attending the Cayfield campus of the UWI to pay part of their tuition costs from September 2014. Local businesses are eagerly awaiting the benefits that will flow from new green legislation. This is according to President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Lalu Vaswani. He says that legislation is expected to be among the items debated when Parliament reconvenes. A 28-year-old St. Michael man has been remanded to Dodds Prison on a murder charge. He's Harold Joseph of Upper Dukes Alley, St. Michael. He appeared in the District E-Magistrates Court this afternoon, charged with murdering Akeem Cadogan. Weather-wise tonight will be fair to occasionally cloudy with breezy with scattered showers. Tomorrow partly cloudy, becoming increasingly cloudy with some scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms.
A recap of this evening's top stories brought to you in association with Carlton and Emerald City Supermarkets, where Bogoff and Bosch are looking out for you from 6:30 a.m.
And that's news. On behalf of the crew, thank you so much for joining us and good night.
It takes a dedicated team to manage the work at Her Majesty's Prison DOT, particularly with the emphasis on reintegration, rehabilitation and resettlement. There are just over 300 prison officers working here at this prison to manage just over 1,000 inmates. But there are also some civilians who are a part of the team and who work in assessment, psychology and counseling.
In this program, you'll meet the prison psychologist, the inmate drug rehabilitation and counseling program coordinator, the manager of the medical unit, the HIV coordinator, and the assistant training officer. You'll also hear from a lifer, an inmate serving a life sentence. Meet Zelda Hippolyte, nursing sister responsible for the management of health care services in the prison. She's been with the prison service for almost 30 years, joining the service as a prison officer, bringing with her basic health training. She later specialized in psychiatry, since at the time the prison was called upon to treat a number of men